Hey, hello everybody. Welcome to another class. Sorry that I was not recording class. It was last week. A few things happened. I have some friends come to visit us, so we've been out a lot. I am helping some friends that is prepare for some code interview. So we are doing some mock interviews with them. And my son is moving to Sweden next week. So we've been like trying to help him and spend as much spend as more time as we can with him before he goes. And on top of that, I was building this little app called Learn for All, and let me show here. Uh, and it's a tool to help people learn new language. So right now it's just the basic content, but the idea is you can select the language that you know, and then you can select the language that you want to learn, and start with some basic concepts. So the first one is the letters. Let's see if
F,
it, yeah. So you can hear like
Q,
Que,
two type of voice, and then you can move from numbers,
0,
dois,
move to counting numbers from 1 to 100, and some basic stuff like days of the week
quarta-feira, quinta-feira,
quinta-feira,
and directions like.
baixo,
And this is going to be improved because I was just prepared the structure of the application, and now I'm going to bring the content. And there is dialogues as well, so we can change from dialogues. There are like, those are all the level ones, so we can select the dialogue, and then, for example, here, hello, what is your name? So in Portuguese will be,
olá, qual é o seu nome?
olá, qual é o seu nome?
and the answer like my name is, or meu nome é José.
Meu nome é José.
Meu nome é José.
And then you can move on, like there is those arrows here that you can move on, and so you're going to read in your mother in language that you know, and then you can see what is the writing in the target language, and then you can hear.
Como você está?
How are you is como você está, and so on. So they have like 20 dialogues for now, but I'm gonna be working on adding more. So okay, let's move this apart, and it's just learning for all. And here you go. We answer last class the question number 11, and today we'll be solving this other one, the 12. In 12, oh sorry, is that right? Yes. Yes. So 12 means read a single digit number and print the description. So let me open here this guy, and let's clean up this. Reset guys. And let's move this to the left. So the idea of this program is we will receive a single digit number. Let's call it like here num. I'm gonna be writing, I guess this may work. So let's call, no, I'm not gonna be writing. So let's call it like number, or better digit is what else called here. And this digit will be from a single digit one. So will be, the options is from 0 to 9. And the idea of the output is the string for one of those values. So it will be like 0, 1, 2, 3, and so on, all the way to 9. So our program has to do the conversion from this number as a digit to the string as a text. So it's a very common one that every bank has something similar, way more complex, because we're going to compose like real numbers. We're going to do this exercise later on. It's very common in any coding and university. We learn how to do it. So this one is the most simple one. We get a single digit, and then we can return the string representation. So this is a good exercise to really understand the if command. So for us now, we have to do something here that will decide based on the digit which one of those results we will output. And we already learned that there is one command that helps us do that easily, the command if. And then we can try the switch. It's a good example for switch as well. Cool. So let's go back there. Writing our code. So the first thing is we'll let the user know what we're expecting. So we are building the UI here. So let's call digit. And now a variable called digit that we read from the keyboard. So you all know the drill here. So actually it's int.parse and then console.readline and do that trick for no. And now that we have our digit, we should decide to, okay, what should I print? The thing we're going to be print is from 0. Let's do some copy and paste here. To 9. But each one of them we have to protect with a if. If the digit is equals to 0, then we'll do this. So let's do the full format and then we can play with some different. Else, if digit is equals to 1, what will print? 1. We'll learn better ways to do this later on. Now it's just because we are practicing the basic. And now what we do, else, if digit is equals to 2, what we're going to be printing? 2. I guess you all got the drill, so you're not going to be afraid with long if else nested anymore. This equals to 3, we'll print 3. Else if digit equals to 4, we'll print 4. And sometimes coding is boring when we know the solution already. Of course, there is always some better ways to solve it. We learn later on, like way better ways to write this and to save typing and all that. And then this will be 5 or equal. So this is going to happen. So we can 5 else if digit equals to 6 console 6 else if almost there digit equals to 7 will print 7. Oops, come on. Saturday morning. Else if digit equals to 8 console dot write line 8. And now a little thing here that we should 8. Can you believe I was about, oh, how do you write 8? It's right that, is that right? I was confused with wait as. And now we can say, okay, if it's not one of those, I can just print console.writeLine 9. Makes sense, right? What we're doing here, we are compare this digit with each one of those possible values, 0 to 8. We are assuming that it's not one of those, then we can say 9. So let me show you how coding is dangerous and how we have to pay attention to the requirements. And if this is an interview, the candidate that does not ask for some good clarification question and don't pay attention to some details probably will be the one that they're gonna ignore first. So, and how important is to test the code properly. So we have our code here. To run this, we need to fix our program. And this happens every day, everywhere, in every company. An engineer finish the code and feel happy. Oh, my code makes sense. What I'm doing is right. But then there is one situation, one case that is going to happen in a Saturday night, like 2 a.m., and then you have to wake up to deal with it, or someone else will need to. So let's run this guy and let's do all the tests. So let's put the digit, let me put a breakpoint here. Let's put the digit like 1. Is this equal to 0? No. Is this equals to 1? Yes. So we print it, and remember, when we have nested if, we just ignore everything that is after this else, because this else actually is the continuation from this if is false. But if this guy is false, we just move out. And then we gave a right answer, 1 and 1. If we want to test again, let's run it. And now let's put something like 7, just to move down the so it's not equals to 1, to 2, to 3, to 4, to 5, to 6, but will be equals to 7. So then we print it, and then we see the result. The danger for the solution is that if we do something like this, imagine that the user is doing, or we are getting this data from another system, and we are supposed to return that, and then by mistake I put here like 22 or 33 or any number, 12. Imagine that I would like to type 2 and I type 22. What is going to happen? See if we can identify. So not be any of those. And then we assume, oh, if it's not any of those, it's because it's 9. And then we're going to say 9. And there's a bug, something can happen, company can lose money, customer can get mad. So the logic makes sense, but only if we validate the input. So what we could do here is, instead of assume, we can test if digit is equals to 9, then we print this. Else, we may print invalid digit. Something like this. Digit must be a value from 0 to 9. Something like this. So this is the, let's see, the part in coding that if you don't pay attention is going to make a difference from a good software engineer from a bad software engineer. Because most of the cases easy to answer, but those little things is where you're going to be learning the hard way. So let's test that every time we change the code. I want you all to feel this pain, because later on you're going to learn how to do with it. Every time you do any change, in theory, you should test everything else. I'm not going to test those situations because I know that we didn't change anything that affected, but for real, you need to. Let's put here like 9, just to see how 9 is going to work. So it's not this, not this, not this. We keep moving on. So we'll be here, we print it, and then we move on. Now let's run again and test that same case, like double tap, 22. So as we can see, will not be any of those, of course. And then we print invalid digit. One little thing here. We are using this write, console write, multiple times. What if now the requirement change to something like this? Print the digit and the text following the formatting like this. Digit equals to text. So that means now our idea is we're gonna have interpolation here, where we'll show the digit equals to, and then the text. So what we're doing here, our print will have whatever digit the user gave us, and then the string equals to 0. So if we need to do this change, we have to change in all console.write. Is that why a good engineer will try to isolate all this input and output in just one single place, and that will be easier to deal with. So let's do this. I'll return this to the original, and I'll do something like this. Let's see. I'll copy this. Let's revert this change here. And let's just say, oh, we have new specs. And I'll put this specs here. Just for the sake of, I'm gonna copy this. And what I will do here is what we call refactor. So it's very common for a junior engineer come up with a code like this, and then in the PR review, or in the review, a more experienced software engineer will tell, oh, do you know, you code this way. So one thing that we could do is, we may have a string here called digit text. Instead of already print directly, we will store that. We're gonna say, okay, in this case, I want the text to be 0. Let's do something here just to make this go away. Or I can do this. And now what I can do is, let's do this, and then instead of print directly, we'll just store wherever the text we are looking for. See if you can follow what I'm doing here. This is what we call code refactoring, because we are not changing the logic. This is, it's because we are not using yet. So let's go here and then fix all this. I could do like a replace. For example, if I want to imagine that we have 100 of those, I could come here and then replace, and I could say replace to this, wherever we have console dot write line in open parentheses. Well, actually there is a problem because I will be changing the other one as well, so I'm not going to do that. Let me keep doing this like by hand. So, but for real, like I could do that just to speed up. So let me see if you agree that first, this will be a little bit more cleaner, because I don't have all that console write line in all those places, so I can just visualize what we are doing is just this. Cool. So what I did here, I just save wherever I want to print. Now what we can do is just one place, we would have that console.writeLine, and then we'll do the interpolation here. We still need to do some little adjustments, but that is the idea. Let's follow that exactly wherever is in here. Digit equals to text. So I will be like precise on this. I will do this. And then here will be digit. And here will be digit text. Let's see how our code is now, because we need to deal with this. Oh, what happened when we have this situation? We're still gonna print this because this is after. So I'm gonna show I use a way to deal with this. Cool. So what did we change in our code? Not much. We only did a better organization, removing this comment from all those lines. And now if I want to change something, I just relate to formatting, I just need to change in one place. If I want to do this way, if I want to like this. Otherwise, I'll have to go to every print and change those things in there. So this is a good skill that every software engineer should have. Making a way that our code is clean, we only do exactly what we need in each part, and then we can just reuse what is there. So we are reusing this dict text here. So we are only have one right line. So let's run this and see. Let me remove the breakpoint from here because this is already done. Let's type here like 7. So what has happened? We move all the way to where we compare with 7. And what we're gonna do is, okay, let's just store the 7 as a string. And now that we have 7 as a string, we can just print it the way that the user asks us to do. Actually, there is a bug here. Imagine that I was confused, and then there is a report to fix a bug, and they say, oh, there is no symbol after the equals. And now I can change just in one place. Otherwise, I will have to go to each one of those prints and change it. So this is the first thing that sometime you are doing a code interview and you bring a solution like this. Of course, in the code interview, you're not going to get something so simple. Sometimes it's not way complex, but you write this way, and another candidate write this way. So the interviewer will think, oh, this guy is, at least show me that it is pay attention to good code quality. Okay? Now let's do this. We go back here, is what I should even show before. We'll get this solution and we'll solve with a case. And then you can tell me, like, I'll say this here using nested ifs. Using switch. Switch. Oh. Do you remember that we learned about the switch command? That basically we did something like this, switch. And it's funny because I don't remember the syntax exactly. Let's go back there. Where we learn about it, selection command. And then let's move this down here. And then the syntax is right here. And the reason that I don't know this is the last few years I have been working with so many different languages. And switch is not a command that I use a lot. And I tend to forget. So what you should do this and then digit. And then we open and close the switch. And now we can put each one of the case. Case 1. What we do, let's be already smart and solve this way. Let's do this. I move this guy. No, let's keep here, sorry. What you do is, let's use another, oh, you can use the same variable here. I just need to declare that, no, let's keep that there. And let's use another variable here. So we have every block doing just something. So string, let me just call text in this case. Or let's do it this way. If case is equals to 1, what you do, text will receive 1. And now we have to remember to put that break, just to say, okay, if that is the case, text will receive 1, and then we just finish our case. Now I'll do a copy and paste here. And I'll fix this to case 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, I forgot. One last. 9. We receive this. So we took advantage. We don't use a default yet. We may use it. Let's see. So we took advantage to make the case. This case, someone could write, okay, I want to write this in just one line to make it easier for me. That is possible as well. Some people, in this case, prefer to do like this because it's easy enough to see that this is this, this is this. So I will do this just on purpose so you can see how change the format, we can make our code easier to read. Some companies, you have to follow exactly how they organize the code. Some others no, but we're gonna see that sometime breaks, if there is a rule, we can break it and make the code easier to read. So look what happened. We changed from all those lines using if, else, to just those lines use a case. Now that we have the text, we can do something similar to this. What you do here will be just text, because digit text we use after. So let me put a breakpoint right here and see what happens. Let's put the digit like 5. We already have 5, print from this one, and now look what happened here. Boom, boom. Pay attention that we didn't compare to any one of those. We went straight to 5, because the case is built in a way that the environment, okay, this is equal to any of those because this is part of our program now. So the compiler prepared the code to be optimal for that. We don't waste any extra like processing power to find out. We just go straight to it. I did something bad. I didn't fix it. Let me stop here because we're gonna print the wrong. So this, I forgot. I copy and paste and forgot to fix all those strings. Of 5. Okay, something is very bad here. 6, 7, 8, 9. Cool, let's run again. This time let's put 7. Now look how smart the switch is. We go straight to 7. We store the 7 in text. And then when we print 7 and 7. This other one below, I didn't do any big change because we only did a refactor, so it should be correct. Cool. So what we did here is just to show you that sometime, if you took the time to understand how to do stuff, so some people is very picky, oh, I want everything here to be as easy to organize, so you're gonna see people that is like this, everything has to be online, it's easy to read. And in this case, I prefer a solution like this using case. However, we need to deal with something else as well. For example, let's run our code. Well, let me close this guy now. Let's run our code. And I want to see how the other solution build is going to work with that double tap. Tutu. We already know that the first one is doing correctly, saying valid dish. Dish must be a value from ta. And now let's try this other one. The digit is not going to be assigned, and then we're going to try to print it. And look what happened. We'll print something like this. 22 is nothing. maybe is what the specs need. If there is no text, we just do nothing. This one here, you have the same issue. Let's put a breakpoint. Oh, we already have a breakpoint down there. What we do is, we are printing that is invalid, and then we are printing that 0. Cool? So what can we do to prevent this? So one thing that we can do is right here, we can test if this text is equals to null. I didn't explain null yet, but imagine that we put a value there like empty or something like that. Then we can assume that we didn't get any of those. So we can say console.writeLine, and let's copy this. And we can even do some little improvement here. Where we are here. Something like this. I will do interpolation and then put the digit here is invalid. So the user can see the invalid digit that he provided. Is invalid digit. Digit has to be a value from 0 to 9. And now I can do this else. So only if the text is not null, we'll print this. So let's put a breakpoint here. So let's see. Just for the sake of test, just one thing first, let me comment this. And we have the breakpoint in the right place, and let's run it. And let's put like the double tap now, 22. So what happened? We assign text the value null, and then we're gonna try to map the digit to one of those values. And now we could not. So then we can say something like this, and we're gonna print that 22 is invalid. Digit must be a value from 0 to 9. Of course, there is other ways to deal with this. We could use a if else in the beginning. So, oh, sorry. Why this guy came to here? So now let's uncomment this code, and I'm getting this. Unfortunately, something about the connection is not good. So I finish this, and I may return later on. So now let's undo this comment here, and let's do the same for here, because what happened is, if, let's put a null here as well, we could not have the else in this case, and then we do the same protection. We can do something like this. Of course, we need to fix the variables. If digit text, remember this is the digit text, so then we have to put digit text here as well. So what we're doing here, we are trying to, we just did a refactor to, based on the digit, we try to store in the digit text the correct string. If it's not exactly one of those, nothing will be stored in this digit text, and then I test, is this guy still null? If it's null, it's because it's invalid, and then I'm going to print here. Otherwise, I will print the right result. So how do we test this? I will remove the breakpoint so we can visualize the execution kind of better, or I could just run without debugging. The option to run without debug is this one. Control F5, Control F5. So let's put like 5. And then we see for the first solution, the other two, they're correct. I didn't on purpose, but in the solution here, I put the capital as the letters with capital. So we can figure out easily which one is what, which one is the one. So now let's run again, and let's put like 0. Oops, sorry, 0 not there, here. And there is something wrong here that I didn't do on purpose, but how important is to be tested. Because look what I did. In those ones, I put the 0, but I forgot the 0 here. And this is a very common case that you can just miss. I was copy and paste, not really pay much attention. And luckily, we found the bug ourselves, only because we've tested. Otherwise, the customer will find that later on. Now I have to, okay, every time you fix a bug, see if there is nothing similar there, because if you did a mistake, probably you did again. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is a good skill. Every time you fix something, let's see if this is not happening in other place as well. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So now I'm more confident that this is going to work. And then now let's run and test again. 0. Ideally, when we test, and this is the pain that I want you to feel, we need to test with everything that could happen. I'm not going to do here, don't spend too much time, but like you should test with each one of the values, and 9 is okay. And now let's test with the double tap. 1, 1. See? So this is it for the today class. I hope I didn't confuse you, because what I'm trying to do here is using those very simple questions to show you how many variants of code you can have. And then I can ask you, if you are the interviewer, and then you get an engineer, 3 engineers. One came up with this solution. Is correct? Yes. He paid attention to details, he thought this. Maybe it's his style to write. But having this, usually if this happens, the interviewer, if it's a good one, you ask him, oh, are you done? Yes. What if you change this, that you want the description in this way now? Just to see if he's gonna say, oh, sorry, I was in a hurry, I didn't talk well, but it would be nice to isolate this console.write line to just one place, because if I need to change, I just need to change one place, because I know there is a format in there that may eventually change it. So as we can see, the solution show more maturity. Cool? Now is a difference that is not a big deal, but someone could claim that this candidate here had a better approach to make our code simpler. And of course, we will learn later on that there is a way easier way to solve this with just a few lines. Actually, it will be the same amount of lines, but easier to understand. This, I would rather pick up this person, because well, instead of all those lines, like 76 to 111, we only have this that fit in a screen. And one good parameter, of course, is not a rule, but it's nice to have code that can fit in a screen. We're going to learn about this later on when we learn methods and functions. So it's a very simple question that when you're learning out there in most of the books, most of the sites, you're just going to see one of the solutions and not the trade-offs. Is that what I'm trying to bring here different? It's like, okay, how we have multiple layers like of abstraction and good quality. So what will be the first one that someone will come up is what they call brute force. And then after that, how can we improve it? Because this is how we do daily. No one really come with the perfect solution the first attempt. We have to refine and improve it. Cool? So yes, I hope there is everything right here. Please do your testing, make sure that we can find some errors, because maybe there. And you understand the trade-offs here. Cool? So good weekend. God bless you. See you next class. The first attempt. We have to refine and improve it. Cool? So yes, I hope there is everything right here. Please do your testing, make sure that we can find some errors, because maybe there. And you understand the trade-offs here. Cool? So good weekend. God bless you. See you next class.